Okay, so I'm about to open my vote by mail ballot, and I'm going to vote in the comfort of my own home. So you just open it up and you pull out your ballot. What is included is your return envelope, has your name on it, and you sign the back. We'll go through that later. This ballot is a pretty big one, so we have two full-size sheets, front and back, of items that we must complete and get ready to vote. But I always like to fold up the top little stub. This is your receipt. Now I'm going to do card 2 first, because that's the local stuff, and that is actually more important than anything else. So card 2 on my ballot, I'm super excited. We get a chance to vote a new mayor. So I am going to show you really quickly. It says to just do a line. So all I did was one line. Use a blue or a black pen. One line. You don't need to sit there and do a whole bunch. And it actually, along with your ballot, comes instructions. And the instructions are in English and in Spanish. And the instructions say, read the instructions on the ballot and vote the ballot. Remove the 3/4 stub at the top of the ballot. Refold the ballot exactly as you received it. Place the ballot in the enclosed official return envelope and seal it. Read the declaration of voter on the official return envelope and sign your name by the red X. Print your residence address and the date on the right, to the right of your signature. To return your ballot, 71 cents postage is required. Ballot must be postmarked on or before Tuesday, November 6th, or you can drop off at any drop-off location or the elections office, any polling place on election day, so any polling place in the county, and the ballot must be delivered no later than 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 6th. And you can go to Sam Baker's sbcountyelections.com to find out locations of where else you can drop it off. Now, if you say you're going through this and you mess up, you can get a replacement ballot. And you can call, and the instructions are on here. You can call 1-800-881-VOTE, or you can send an email to mailballots@sbcountyelections.com, and they will send you a new mail ballot. And of course it says, take a mail ballot selfie with your I voted by mail sticker and ballot envelope and share your experience with friends and family through social media by using hashtag SBCVote2018 and hashtag ballot selfie. So I'm going to totally do that because I like to do that. And you can peel and wear your I voted by mail sticker. So I am totally going to do that also because that's how I roll. Now, in terms of who do you vote for, how do you vote? Besides just doing the one little line, that's all you need, nothing, and you knew no one, you could go online and do a quick Ecosia search. I don't use Google, but you could use Ecosia, ECOSIA, and they donate trees every time you do a search, or it adds up. And just look up name by name, local folks. And if it's like, a normal average name, John Smith, you can put John Smith and your city. So John Smith, Fontana, and see who comes up and what happens. And sometimes there's websites, sometimes there's just articles or information. Facebook, and see if they have a Facebook page, and just kind of see what what each one is about. Sometimes they do have a phone number or an email, and don't be afraid to call them. They're asking for your vote. Go ahead and ask. Feel totally free to ask them where they stand on the issues that matter to you, but are also relevant to the office that they're seeking. No reason to ask the dog catcher what he thinks about the legalization of cannabis. That doesn't make sense. But you know what I mean. And if you're in the Inland Empire, you can actually go to ieprogressivealliance.com, and see um, our allies and coalition members, alliance members, their recommendations, the ones that actually participate in elections. Some of our community organizations do not because they are nonprofit, and so they don't do that. So, and if you're not in the Inland Empire, you're elsewhere in California or throughout the United States, look for an organization that you trust and see what their recommendations are. League of Women Voters offers nonpartisan. They just allow candidates to put their platform on their website, and so sometimes you can have a chance to see all of them, where if you can't find them in an Ecosia search anywhere else. Definitely don't be afraid to call your local party office and ask them what their recommendations are. If they don't have a reachable telephone number, take a look at the website and see what else. Sometimes you'll get mail from these candidates. Take a look at where the mail is coming from. Is it coming from directly from the candidate, or is it paid for by somebody else? And who is this somebody else? A lot of times those groups will have a name, and you can find information about that through your Secretary of State at the county, your Registrar of Voters, or your Secretary of State, who would have information, financial information, of where this money's coming from, who contributes to that group or committee. And you just figure out, who's paying for it, what's their motive, what do they get out of it, by who they're supporting. And does that align with what you believe? And then on the propositions, it would be the same thing. Ballotpedia.com actually has sometimes a pretty good summary, as well as links to all of the ballot measures and proposals, especially the bigger statewide ones. Sometimes the local measures aren't going to be on there. But take a look at ballotpedia.com, and so a lot of times they'll list the funding, they'll list the pros and cons of which each side says, and there might even be source links of where you could find more information. But again, if you're in the Inland Empire, go ahead and go to ieprogressivealliance.com and find out what local groups around the IE have made as far as recommendations. So that's how you vote. And I'm going to pause it right now as I go through my ballot, and then I'm going to show you what I do afterwards. Okay, I'm back. I don't know how long it took me to go through both sheets, but I want to say it's probably been about 5 or 6 minutes. So I went through both of them, and that was only because I was looking for some information, and that reminded me. There is, and you probably got this, a voter information guide and sample ballot. So it has a sample ballot of all of the things that you can be voting on. So if you don't have a vote by mail ballot, you can go through this, fill it out, and then just walk into on election day and be ready to just copy what you already put on your sample ballot. In here, it does have candidate statements. Now, candidates do have to pay for this, and depending on how big their district is, it could be a couple $100 to all the way up to many thousands of dollars. So don't always definitely read them and look for further information, but don't always assume that because somebody didn't pay for a candidate statement that they are not serious. They just maybe couldn't afford it. Those are those grassroots candidates oftentimes. There's also an explanation on all of the bonds and the language, and again the rebuttals and the who's in favor of it and who's against it. There is definitely more instructions about how to complete your ballot, and then in our area the ballot is listed both in English and in Spanish, since we do have a large population of Spanish speakers. At the beginning, there is other languages that might be helpful in California, and so it can give you instructions on how to get your ballot in your a native language if it's necessary. So that's your sample ballot. If you don't have one of these, you can call and make sure that you are registered, because these go out to every registered voter. But a lot of times too, the county that you're in will have this same guide online on a PDF, so that you can download it if you need to. So that, and then I went to go look at some of my organizations that I belong to. This is some of the election mail that I got. And so I went to look at some recommendations from the different orgs that I respect and belong to, just to double check how I was voting on those propositions. Now, I will give you a warning on some of this, some of these mailers are kind of awful. That, they're attack mailers and stuff. So I just ignore them, but I also pay attention to who they're supporting, who's paying for it, and then remember not to support anything that they support. But every once in a while, you will get something that's called like a slate mailer. And it looks very official. It looks like this is the guide and you just follow this stuff. Well, a lot of times these are paid for by candidates. And it's paid, and it's a money-making proposition for folks to just have candidates buy their spot on their slate. It doesn't necessarily mean that they believe in anything that this slate is supposed to actually be. It just could be that they got there first, that they bought it first. And these slate cards will say that paid for, who they're paid for by, and they will sometimes give a disclaimer that's with an asterisk by it saying, "Notice to voters, this document was prepared by our California blah 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 voters guide, not an official party organization, not an official political party organization. Appearance in this mailer does not necessarily imply endorsement of others appearing in this mailer, nor does it imply endorsement or opposition to any issues set forth in this mailer. Appearance is paid for and authorized by each candidate and ballot measure, which is designated by an asterisk. Candidates are selected independent of party affiliation. So, for instance, you could get a Democratic voter guide that is filled with Republicans who bought that slate up first and put their name on there, even though they're not Democrats. They will typically do that in areas where, like my city, where we are a predominantly Democratic city, left-leaning city, but all of our council and current mayor are Republicans. So, be very mindful of that. And if you have a party that you belong to, I belong to the Democrats, but you might belong to another party, a lot of times they will send you something directly and it will say that it is paid for by the such and such party. That's one that you can kind of trust that, those are your folks, but still do your due diligence if you can. And you might not always agree with everything on there. Sometimes I don't. That's why I'm a progressive. Okay, so I've completed my ballot, have my envelope. I'm going to put this all in here. And I will give you a quick tip. There is a lot of stuff to vote on here, including like judges and local measures. You do not have to complete the whole thing if you don't feel comfortable. I think the worst thing that you can do is accidentally vote for something that you shouldn't have voted for. So just leave it blank if you don't want to vote for that person or that office or that proposition because you just don't know enough, or both options are bad. Just don't even fill that part out. But again, if you want recommendations from our local organizations, i.e. progressivealliance.com can give you those recommendations. You always sign your ballot. And you're certifying that you are declaring under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that I am the person whose name appears on this envelope, that I am a resident of the precinct in which I am voting, reside at the address shown, and have neither applied for nor intend to apply for a mail ballot from any other jurisdiction for this election. So, voting once. That is why voting fraud is very rare. It takes a lot of effort to actually do all kinds of stuff and get multiple ballots and try to vote more than once and all that stuff. So that's the certification. It won't be accepted unless it's signed in your own handwriting, because it kind of needs to match what you've already turned in. And then you can return it on election day, postmarked All the instructions are here. But you can also have someone, an authorized return agent, return it to you as well. And it says, this is the part that's new. A voter who is unable to return the ballot may designate any person to return the ballot to any polling place or drop-off location in California. And you just put the name of the authorized person, the relationship to the voter, and the signature of the authorized person. So, for instance, if I was going to have my mom drop this off because she's available during the day, I would put my mom's name. I would put she's my mom. And then she would sign this as the authorized person who is returning my ballot. That's new. It used to only be like people in your own household and stuff. So I think that's pretty cool. That means that there is no excuse at all to not make your voice heard. And of course, the work of a good citizen does not stop on election day. I quote often Dwight Eisenhower said that the part-time job of every good citizen is politics. Politics is the part-time job of anyone who would be a good citizen. So I just voted, and I showed you how I did it and what I did. And if you have any questions, feel free to message or reach out to me. Have a great night. Bye. Oh, I like to do that. Peace.